They're getting rid of Job Corps because no one's joining the military. And rightfully so. Like, who the fuck actually wants to go and fight for a country that's not fighting for them? At this point specifically in time in America. Like, that's just not what people want to do. And I feel like initially they got rid of DEI because they thought it was going to make a bigger splash and it was going to affect a certain amount of, marginalized groups. But it didn't actually do that. And it affected other people. And so now their next effort is like, oh, well, we'll just get rid of Job Corps because that actually is something that benefits, marginalized groups and is helping them. And so in doing that, I don't know if they're thinking like, oh, if we get rid of this, well, now these people will think that they have to join the military and fight for this country.
So the current administration is cutting funds to Job Corps temporarily. And I love how they use that word, but then don't tell us when they're going to reinstate said funding. And as a result of that loss of funding, Job Corps centers across the country are shutting down, and all of them will be shut down essentially June 30th of this year. Actually, correction, all contractor-operated Job Corps centers will be shut down June 30th. So the website for the Department of Labor states that while Job Corps was initially meant to help young people transition into blue-collar work, they have found that's not the case anymore. They found that, due to research and studies and blah, 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 that it's a waste of funding, so they're cutting it.
This is what I mean when I say don't pay attention to what they're saying. Just pay attention to what they're doing. Pay attention to their actions. Now, for those of you who haven't heard or who haven't seen, they are shutting down the Job Corps program nationwide. If you don't know what the Job Corps program is, consider yourself to have a very fortunate upbringing. If you don't know what Job Corps is, you probably had a very fortunate upbringing or a decent upbringing. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, the Job Corps program was a program that was initiated all around the country. I know personally, growing up down in Miami, the Job Corps program was a very, very vital program in my community. What the Job Corps program did was provided an opportunity for kids and young adults up to about the age of 20 or 21, I believe. It provided them with an alternative to those who weren't necessarily able to thrive or function in a normal high school environment. Also, it gave an opportunity for kids who are homeless.
They want young adults and minors ages 16 to 24 to be homeless because that's what's going to happen. Job Corps is scheduled to end 99 facilities by June 30th, which will leave young adults and minors ages 16 to 24 who don't have a place to go. They will be homeless. They are all up my FYP right now, showing themselves having to pack with nowhere to fucking go. A lot of people don't even know what Job Corps is. It is an organization that is designed, it's almost like college, but it allows ages 16 to 24 young adults and minors to get skills. Skills for being an automotive technician, trade skills, being an electrician or being a plumber. And essentially, they live there, they live on campus, they build a community, they are paid, it's very little wages, but they can also utilize financial aid for their material and for their everyday living necessities and expenses. And now they're just going to take it away.
A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. Welcome back to another episode of my YouTube channel. This is the Diaspora View and I'm your presenter, Sam. So guys, today I want us to dive into a very serious topic. So sit back and relax. So good people, I have a question. And what do you do when your government suddenly pulls the rug out from under the most vulnerable young people in the country? What happens when 25,000 low-income students are told with barely a warning to pack up and leave the only place that gave them assured survival? Because whatever I'm talking about today, it's not fiction. This is something that is real. I'm not exaggerating anything. It is something that has been trending online, and this is something happening in America in 2025. So, Job Corps, a federally funded program offering education, vocational training, housing, and meals to struggling youth, is being shut down nationwide abruptly with no notice and with no transition plan in sight. So, thousands of young people, many of them homeless or from the foster system, have just been told, you are on your own. Some of these students were days away from finishing their trade certifications. Others had just found hope after years of trauma, and now they're back on the streets to be criminals, of course. And the Department of Labor says it's about budget cuts and underperformance. But is that really the full story? So today, whatever I'm going to tell you, it's the real reason behind the mass closure of Job Corps centers and why many believe it's a deliberate move to hurt black and brown youth, dismantle safety nets, and push the poor towards desperation, military enlistment, or worse. And I want to tell you that this is more than just a policy, it's a systemic cruelty disguised as economics. Stay with me because you're going to want to see what they don't want you to know. Relax, I'll be back with my further analysis.
Come on, Ruby.
Why are the Republicans shutting down Job Corps? Like, if you don't know what Job Corps is, it's something that, like, high school dropouts and young kids who, don't go to college can go to Job Corps and get trade trainings. Like, you can learn to work construction, you can learn to be an electrician, a plumber, those kinds of things in Job Corps. Like, you'd think these would be the kind of things that Republicans would be for. It's the trades. It's not even college. And it helps millions of kids. Like, of course, that's why they want to, destroy it, because it helps millions of kids. But I just heard Job Corps shutting down on Friday. And a lot of these people are like kids who went through the foster system and turned 18 and didn't have anywhere to go, so they went to Job Corps, so at least they could, learn a trade or something. And now they're not going to have anything. They're going to get kicked out of Job Corps probably before they get their degrees or whatever, or their certificates of their training, and they're not going to have anywhere to go. They're going to be homeless. This administration is just fucking evil. Of all the shit our tax money goes to, why the fuck are you cutting this? And spending $300 million so Trump can go golfing.
So, the United States Department of Labor is shutting down Job Corps. Let me explain why that should piss you off. Job Corps is a federally funded program that gives low-income youth between the ages of 16 and 24 free education, career training, housing, food, and job placement help. For almost all of these kids, it is their one shot at breaking the poverty cycle that some of their families have been living in for generations. But the Department of Labor has announced that they're going to be shutting it down. Why? Because they say it's too expensive. It runs about $1.7 billion to process through about 50,000 individuals through the program annually. That's about $34,000 per participant, which is a screaming deal considering that that's housing, food, job training, career training, financial management training, everything that you would get throughout your life that these individuals haven't been able to receive because of where they came from. But at the end of June, on June 30th, the Department of Labor is shutting down all of the contract-ran centers because they say next year the deficit on the program will hit $213 million a year. They also say it's underperforming, and that could be argued to be true because only about 38% of the participants graduate, and the average income after leaving the program is about $17,000 a year. There have been some safety concerns at some of the job centers just due to the nature of the program, but the deficit shouldn't be a big problem. It's ran at a deficit before, and Congress has always ended up funding it because it is an important program that's been around since 1964. But here's the real truth behind it, because they're not shouting from the rooftops that nearly half of the students in Job Corps are black students. Another 17% are Latino. Only about 25% are white. So Job Corps doesn't just serve low-income youth, it overwhelmingly helps youth of color. And as with everything else in the past in this country, shutting it down doesn't fix anything. It's overwhelmingly going to hurt people of color. And this administration seems to relish that. There's no plan to return it. There's no safety net. There's just thousands of kids kicked out of training and housing with hundreds of staff across the country that are going to lose their jobs as well. So sure, Department of Labor and the Trump administration can say this is all about saving money, but let's not pretend that it's also about who benefits from this program and has historically, and who the administration and every Republican administration since it was established has been okay with leaving behind. This isn't about efficiency. It's about erasing people, and it's happening on purpose.
They're getting rid of Job Corps because no one's joining the military. And rightfully so. Like, who the fuck actually wants to go and fight for a country that's not fighting for them? At this point specifically in time in America. Like, that's just not what people want to do. And I feel like initially they got rid of DEI because they thought it was going to make a bigger splash and it was going to affect a certain amount of, marginalized groups. But it didn't actually do that. And it affected other people. And so now their next effort is like, oh, well, we'll just get rid of Job Corps because that actually is something that benefits, marginalized groups and is helping them. And so in doing that, I don't know if they're thinking like, oh, if we get rid of this, well, now these people will think that they have to join the military and fight for this country that's not fighting for them. But like, I just don't see people joining the military, especially with the knowing that this country doesn't really give a fuck about what is going on in their lives. And like, the country is not fighting for them at all. So then what would be the point of that? Because even if they did a draft, it would still be like, well, we're not going to go. And then what is the government going to do? Say that everyone is now a prisoner because they decided not to get drafted into wars? Like, and okay, if everyone's now in prison because they didn't want to go fight for the war, then you still have no soldiers. So like, this is just not a smart decision on their end. Like, were they even thinking? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. That's crazy.
So I found out today, and I haven't heard anything about this other than looking it up on Google. Job Corps is shutting down. So as of next Friday, Job Corps nationwide is no more. So if you have a kid between the ages of 16 and 26 that attend Job Corps, they're out as of next Friday. We are waiting for more information on Monday. I have a child in Job Corps, and I also have a nephew in Job Corps. But this is crazy. There are a lot of kids, adults, that are at Job Corps because they had no place to go. I've heard that they're trying to place people in homes and get them housing or whatever, but there's no guarantee for that. So I'm just letting you know that if you have a child, again, between 16 and 26, who's at Job Corps right now, as of next Friday, they don't have anywhere to be. So check on your kids. And this is just really sad because this means a displacement of thousands, if not tens of thousands of people who went there because they had no place else to go, to learn a trade, to get a skill, to get a job. It's really, really sad right now.
The real reason why they're probably shutting down the Job Corps is to sort of push more people into the military. Because if you kind of did your research, nobody in Gen Z or the younger generation really wants to join the military, and it's really at an all-time low right now. And honestly, this whole situation is really messed up because like the whole reason for Job Corps was to sort of support people who are very impoverished, who don't get these opportunities. And when they finally do get opportunity to sort of break the cycle, of poverty their families have been in for probably generations, they just take that opportunity away from them and they say, hey, you guys are out of a job now. And it's not just one person, it's like 40,000 people plus that are out of jobs now, It's a really sad situation, but they claim it's a tax, like to cut funding, but, I kind of don't believe that. But, it's a very sad situation for especially the youth because they're always sort of being, messed over all the time.
I guess a part of making America great during this golden age is shutting down Job Corps. Job Corps was established as a part of the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964. The program provided free residential education and job training programs for citizens between the age of 16 and 24. So a lot of kids who were kicked out of their homes prematurely, or those kids who came through foster care, would use this program to get a leg up. They learn skills and trades that help them get decent paying jobs today in society. So why close this program without a viable alternative? I personally think it's part of a long-term initiative to stop education in the United States for low-income people and have them working in factories. I believe Howard Lutnick said this a few weeks ago, and I talked about it in one of my videos, but nobody's paying attention. Common sense would have it. The more uneducated a population is, the easier it is to control them. But common sense is not so common in the United States, and that's on purpose. Somewhere along the way, people in this country have been brainwashed or gaslit into voting against their own interests, and it worked. They did a number on them. If you notice, the rich are united while the poor are divided, and that's on purpose. Somewhere along the way, the masses are okay with paying taxes, but not getting the ROI in the programs, right? Where do they do that at? How are you paying more taxes, but your programs are being cut? Think. Where is your money going? Think. See, they created a boogeyman for you to distract you. And the boogeyman is minorities and immigrants. So if you focus on the boogeyman, or the so-called alleged boogeyman, then you're not focused on your taxes being taken and you're not getting a return on your investment. And just think, they got you to normalize this thought process, right? They got you to normalize the hamster on the wheel. That's you. You're the hamster. They got you to normalize that and be okay with it. And how they keep you as the hamster on the wheel, perpetually just running that wheel, is they connected your health care to your employer. They're intertwined. And without working, you can't have health care. That's not normal. And also employment at will, okay? Where there's a situation, it's a very lopsided situation where you can be fired for anything. No other country in the world does that. Not one other country. This is the only place, the United States, that does employment at will. Why? Because it's toxic. Every other country protects their citizens. You got to think, wake up. So attacking Job Corps is an organized effort and strategy, a long-term one, to get the little hamsters at 16 to get ready for that wheel for the rest of their life and put them in factories.
So the current administration is cutting funds to Job Corps temporarily. And I love how they use that word, but then don't tell us when they're going to reinstate said funding. And as a result of that loss of funding, Job Corps centers across the country are shutting down, and all of them will be shut down essentially June 30th of this year. Actually, correction, all contractor-operated Job Corps centers will be shut down June 30th. So the website for the Department of Labor states that while Job Corps was initially meant to help young people transition into blue-collar work, they have found that's not the case anymore. They found that, due to research and studies and blah, 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 that it's a waste of funding, so they're cutting it. In actuality, what is happening is that they're cutting Job Corps and other essential programs nationwide to fund tax cut. So when your Medicaid gets cut, right, and you can't afford your medical bill, or your SNAP gets cut, or your WIC gets cut, and you're trying to figure out how the hell you're going to feed your baby. Or more simply, when your taxes go up, right, you're making less than 100 bands a year, yet your taxes are going up. This is all happening because Donald Trump wants to give tax cuts to the ultra wealthy. These are people who already have more money than fucking God. That's it. That's all. He wants to take them from a 21% tax rate to a 17% tax rate, which is insane. I saw videos this morning of parents scrambling, trying to figure out what the hell they're going to do with their kids, because a lot of them kids who were in Job Corps lived at Job Corps. Now they done had their whole life turned upside down, trying to figure out what the hell they're going to do with their baby. Listen, this is ridiculous. It's especially fucked up when you consider Job Corps is literally a program meant to educate young people on how to enter into blue-collar work. It's the only way, at least today, right, for young people to pick up blue-collar trades, right, and skills that they can then turn into long-term career. I don't understand how you could cut that, having just came off a campaign where you were championing the middle class and how you were going to bring back jobs and farming and coal mining and blah, 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 blah. Ultimately, I don't know how any of this makes America great, but I really don't. I have no clue.
Invest in you academically, but also emotionally. So, with that being said, how many of you are planning on going home this weekend? Hey. Show of hands.
Everybody.
Slow.
Starting immediately. If you go home, you will not be returned. Listen up, let me finish. Let me finish. Guys, I need your entire attention. I've got a lot of information to get out. I'll wait till you're done. Don't need a lot of extra comments. I want to get all of this information out because we have a lot of things that are going to be happening. So let me repeat myself. If you are planning on taking your weekend pass, you will not return to center under any circumstances. So don't ask me any questions when you get it out. For everybody else, Monday, you will be departing the center. Let me finish. Monday, you will start departing center. This is coming from the Department of Labor. This is not coming from your center director or the staff. This is coming from the Department of Labor and your new president. Any complaints, I highly recommend you write a letter to Congress, to the Senate, to anybody that's going to hear you speak. You guys are the voice of the future. Each and every one of you. So there are a lot of staff here, which it is a challenging time for you guys. But we have a lot of staff here that have dedicated their lives to you guys. So if you have something to say, don't come to us because we can't fix it. Get your voter's registration. How many of you voted? Here you go. I highly recommend that the next election, you vote. This is what it's all about. You guys want change that comes from you guys. So this is where it starts. So, students that decide to stay for the weekend, you will be departing on Monday. Students that are departing, that have completed the program, whether it's you've completed your trade or you've just completed your high school diploma, you are considered a Detroit Job Corps graduate. Congratulations. This is a success story. The ones that came here stood on their business. We have students that exited the program. Job Corps is success. Listen up.
So a lot of kids are about to be homeless right now. I'm sure you guys have been watching the news. I actually work at Job Corps. So it's crazy, but with all of our students going home, some have placements, some are homeless. If you see, we have like 25,000 students that are about to be uprooted. 30% of those students are homeless, which is 7,500 students are homeless. So I'm doing what I can. I'm trying to do, or my Job Corps is doing what we can. We're trying to make sure our students have the bare essentials, stuff that they're going to need when they leave here. We have some students that are going to be homeless. We want to make sure they have what they need. We are doing all we can do. Let me turn my camera around. Let me show you what I'm doing right here. Hold on. So we are gathering, some essentials that, that our students may need: soap, shampoo, Band-Aids. I mean, body lotions, stuff for their hair, pads, tampons, stuff to wash clothes. And this isn't all. I mean, we're still bringing stuff out. Our staff has really, really, really come together. What's in here? We got socks, washcloths, towels. We're just trying to bring out everything we can. Clothes, hair clipper sets, shoes. It's crazy. It's scary. It's scary for them. Staff, we're trying to figure out what to do. Ain't that right?
Yes, we got to put in applications, and who
It's
knows
crazy.
where we'll go.
This is a mess.
This is a mess.
Job Corps is closing. Are you freaking serious right now?
After 100 years, no.
How many
for
years
real.
have you been here?
I've been here for 11 years.
I've been here for 8 years. We have some staff that's been here for
over 40 years.
Over 40 years. You know what I mean? Like, what the heck?
What are we going to do?
What are we going to do? All right, I'm gonna pause this video and I'll come back with some more footage. Okay. Right now we're trying to get this stuff out for our babies, and we're gonna open it up at 4 o'clock and let the students just go for whatever y'all need. Take it. Right. So I'll be back.
Nah, bro. Can we double back?
She's putting her stuff in my bag.
Yeah, I'm about to get that jump.
That's not a picture, it's a video, silly boy. Oh, you about to get turned up with the grape juice. Okay, I see you. I see you.
You know I got you, Kev. I think I overdid it.
No, you didn't. You get as much stuff as you want. Let me see what you got. This is all your stuff. Look at that. At least you're going to need it. You're getting stuff you need, so you're fine. That's right. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Yeah, the whole thing. These are so cool. I love these things. Yeah, and they smell really good. Take what y'all need. Take what y'all need. Look, we got underwear right here, guys. Boxers. It's a thing of socks up under the table right there. I got you on paint too if you need it. Oh yeah. Brushes, all that. Yeah.
Baby oil is with you.
Miss Hall. Hey. Miss Miller in the building. Let's see if they're finding anything over here.
Y'all finding everything okay?
Yeah.
No problem. Make sure you get everything you need. Okay?
I got everything.
Get everything you need. Let's go see Amir. Amir is actually my child who is a student here at Job Corps. Amir, did you get everything you need? All right. They said, we are Job Corps. That's right. What do you say? That's right. You finding everything you need, Victor? All right. You're very welcome, baby doll. Hey, Lyric. I'm rolling. Say hi. Hi, guys. You gonna shop? Get you some stuff you may need?
Potentially.
Yeah, there's plenty out here for everybody.
I will. Huh? Who's taking me? I'm about to talk to you.
Look at all these babies getting stuff they're gonna need. Look at this. I love it. I love it. I love it. What happened? That's okay. He needed it. Look, this stuff is y'all's. Get what you need.
Damn, look at one of them shits. Come on, Cuddy. No. Come on, Cuddy.
You better get your own stuff. There's plenty on these tables for you to get. Help yourself. Hey, Shaq. Get whatever you need, okay? All right. I love this. I am so happy that I was able to, do this for them. Look at them. Getting the stuff that they're going to need. Absolutely. Hey, Shaggy, your stuff spilled. Why don't you get something stronger so your stuff won't spill?
Like a box.
Yeah, go look over there by the door. I have stuff you can use. Or double a bag.
Yeah, you're nervous.
Are y'all finding stuff?
Hey, bitch.
Yo, I'm recording. Yeah, don't do that. Say hi.
No, make her say sorry. I'm offended.
Look at your bag. Look at your bag. That's what I'm talking about.
Look. What is that?
Some of the boys need
What is that ball for?
I don't know why they not grabbing it.
I grabbed one for me.
Period.
Yeah, absolutely.
The boys need this.
Yeah.
What is this?
Thank you so much for joining my video. Guys, remember our students that are about to be out there. Have a good day.
They want young adults and minors ages 16 to 24 to be homeless because that's what's going to happen. Job Corps is scheduled to end 99 facilities by June 30th, which will leave young adults and minors ages 16 to 24 who don't have a place to go. They will be homeless. They are all up my FYP right now, showing themselves having to pack with nowhere to fucking go. A lot of people don't even know what Job Corps is. It is an organization that is designed, it's almost like college, but it allows ages 16 to 24 young adults and minors to get skills. Skills for being an automotive technician, trade skills, being an electrician or being a plumber. And essentially, they live there, they live on campus, they build a community, they are paid, it's very little wages, but they can also utilize financial aid for their material and for their everyday living necessities and expenses. And now they're just going to take it away. They're going to take it away because they want low income people to fucking perish. That's what they want. That's what they want. And yes, there's a lot of people of color who depend on Job Corps. Black, brown, and there are some that are white, low-income individuals who don't have anywhere to go, who won't have anywhere to go. They are packing, they are crying, they are losing their family, essentially, and they're losing their resources. And I know people are going to say, oh, you're depending on the government again. Depending on the government, not so much. They are utilizing the resources provided. What is so different about Job Corps than going to college and getting financial aid and getting a Pell Grant? The only difference is that when they get out of that, they are going to have a job. They're going to have a trade skill. Y'all complain nobody wants to do this work and nobody wants to work. Now you're taking away the only people who will be trained to do said work. You are fucking idiots. I promise you that. Whoever voted this way, kick fucking rocks barefoot, bro.
This is what I mean when I say don't pay attention to what they're saying. Just pay attention to what they're doing. Pay attention to their actions. Now, for those of you who haven't heard or who haven't seen, they are shutting down the Job Corps program nationwide. If you don't know what the Job Corps program is, consider yourself to have a very fortunate upbringing. If you don't know what Job Corps is, you probably had a very fortunate upbringing or a decent upbringing. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, the Job Corps program was a program that was initiated all around the country. I know personally, growing up down in Miami, the Job Corps program was a very, very vital program in my community. What the Job Corps program did was provided an opportunity for kids and young adults up to about the age of 20 or 21, I believe. It provided them with a alternative to those who weren't necessarily able to thrive or function in a normal high school environment. Also, it gave an opportunity for kids who were homeless. It provided them an opportunity to get an education, to get their GED, to get their high school diploma. It also provided them an opportunity to learn a trade and get job skills that they could use to be productive members of society, to be productive members of the community. It also provided housing. Again, it accepted homeless kids. So what it did, some of these programs around the country in these Job Corps, it provided housing, it provided food, it provided stabilization for these people's lives. And again, it provided an opportunity to let them become productive and learn skills that will make them able to earn a living and earn money. Now, in the beginning of the video, I said, don't pay attention to what they said, pay attention to what they're doing. It was funny watching the news last week, and, you know, with all this thing going on about Harvard, one of those things that the press secretary said, I won't say that lady name, one of the things that the press secretary was saying was how this current administration was going to take all the money that they were getting from these from Harvard and these other universities that weren't, quote unquote, you know, willing to capitulate to what they wanted. They were going to take that money, those funds, and give them to trade schools and trade programs and redistribute it. Well, if that was the case, why are we shutting down a vital program that helped a lot of people, a lot of underprivileged people, a lot of people in these minority communities get those skills, get those trades that you were talking about, you know, develop these necessary skills that they need to survive. So again, don't pay attention to what they say, pay attention to what they do, and hopefully something happens. But if not, man, RIP to Job Corps.
Let's just call it what it is, okay? They're closing Job Corps because they want young adults who don't come from money to either join the military, go into crime so that they can go into prison where they can be worked for free under the 13th Amendment, or if neither of those, be so desperate that they take terrible jobs with terrible wages and no worker protections and have a massive fear of organizing. Like, I don't really see what else the option could be, because Job Corps is not a huge drain on the U.S. budget. It's like a drop inside of a drop inside of a drop inside of the bucket. You know, it's tiny, and it's about as much of a net good of a social program as you can imagine. Job Corps' number one function is to ensure that people who come from certain zip codes and from households with a certain income don't end up on government benefits later. It's like how the number is something like for every dollar that we spend with the IRS, we get like $6 back. Like I would be surprised if Job Corps is not similar in terms of the ROI. This is done for nothing more than cruelty and ripping the rug out from underneath hard-working kids. This is evil.
Received additional information that we have to arrange travel for all of our students for Monday. So there's a process, there is a checklist, and we're going to do everything that we're supposed to do to make sure that you have everything that you need in safe travel back to your home. If you don't have a home, the counselors will be your point of contact. You need to notify them that you are homeless, because we have to then find other arrangements for those students that don't have a place to go.
They had us go to the rec at about 1:30, and they broke the news to us, and they had us go to the dorms, pack our stuff.
The staff on site would not say a word to us, but sources tell us it was shut down after recent cuts at the Department of Labor, which oversees the program.
I didn't want him to be a statistic, so I wanted him to be focused and get his education.
16-year-old Carlton Davis lived here, and his mom recently lost their house, and there's more.
I have breast cancer surgery next week, so now I'm debating having my surgery canceled so I can make sure my son is okay.
I'm livid. I am livid. I cannot believe this.
Community activist Pastor Mo trying to help out here after getting calls from frantic mothers. He's worried about the short and long-term solutions for these kids.
The ones who are trying to get it right. This is why I'm so pissed off. These are not kids are in a youth home who got caught in a crime. These are kids who are trying to avoid getting caught in a crime.
My last lunch at Job Corps. This will be, this is beef stew with potatoes and bell peppers, rice, and mixed vegetables. Lemonade with lemon slices. My salad contains chickpeas, cranberries, cheese, and onions. Of course, lettuce and croutons, Thousand Island dressing. Yeah.
So, welcome back to the channel, guys. And at least 30% of Job Corps students are homeless. That's nearly 7,500 young people. Many came to Job Corps because they had nowhere else to go. No family, no safety, and no options. And now they're being told, you can't stay here. You can't even come back on Monday. Students who were supposed to go home for the weekend are being locked out permanently. That's crazy, right? Staff members are scrambling to collect essentials like soaps, clothes, tampons, anything to help these kids survive the next few weeks. I have told you earlier that this is not just a policy adjustment. This is a social abandonment, and we know who it's going to hurt the most. Black youth, who make up nearly half the Job Corps population. Another 17% are Latinos. This is not just an accident. This is targeted. A generational safety net is being cut from under communities of color. And the government has an explanation that not even makes sense. Well, the Department of Labor claims the program is too expensive, costing 1.7 billion US dollars annually with low graduation rates and poor outcomes. But let us be honest, they've known these numbers for years, of course, and Congress has always funded Job Corps, and despite deficits, because the returns are worth it. It changed lives, and we know it. But this time, they didn't just slash the budget. They pulled the plug, and many believe it's because these kids were never meant to succeed under the system. And that's the bitter truth, my people. Some even argue that the shutdown is not about performance, it's about power, because they're about to force desperate youth into the military as enlistment. enlistment rates go down. It's about ensuring they take lower jobs with no worker protections. It's about weakening the next generation of working class resistance before they even have a chance to fight. This is the erasure of opportunity. This is a systemic design, not a dysfunction. And as I come to the end of this video, I want us to reflect and I want us to step back and look at the bigger picture because Job Corps wasn't just a training center. Job Corps was a refuge, a place where a kid from a broken home could learn to weld, learn a diploma, and believe in themselves for once in their lives. It gave them purpose, it gave them dignity, it gave them a sense of belonging to the society because one mother who is now being forced to cancel her breast cancer surgery to care for her son after his center closed said it best, you know. She said, "We lost our house. Job Corps was our last shot." This is not just something, it's a story of survival, and they're now being thrown away. And meanwhile, uh, the federal government is pushing tax cuts for the ultra wealthy from 21% to 17%. That's billions of dollars shifted upwards, while thousands of struggling youth are being thrown out in the only safe space they had. I want you guys to ask yourselves, where are the priorities? Why are not setting their priorities right as the federal government? Because Job Corps graduates weren't becoming millionaires, of course, but they were becoming plumbers, electricians, and automotive techs, who are the backbone of any economy we know. And in a time when we supposedly need more skilled labor, why are we destroying the pipeline? You know, because some call it incompetence, but others call it cruelty. And let us be real. I want to tell you something that this is a strategy. It is not by accident. Take away education from the poor and you put them into desperation. Then offer them only three options: low wage work, the military, or the prison. You know, so this is not a broken system. It's a system that is working perfectly the way it was built. It was built on exploitation, poverty, and control. And I don't want us to forget the demographics. Like nearly 70% of Job Corps students are black or Latino, and only 25% are white. So you already know who are going to get hurt the most. People are being erased without them knowing. And I'm not sugarcoating anything. It's happening in isolation. This is a part of a broader trend where social programs are being dismantled under the guise of efficiency. So they came for Job Corps. What's next? Maybe Pell Grants, food assistance, Medicaid, which is already affected. Every lifeline we take for granted could disappear in the same quiet, bureaucratic way. And I want to tell you something. If you're not rich in America, your options are vanishing. And if you are young, poor, and black, I'm sorry, the system was not meant to have you in the first place. And this is why we need to talk about this. I want you to share this video. I want you to make noise because if we stay silent, they are going to raise thousands of young lives from the future of this country. Like people are in the complicit cruelty. I want you people to demand better. I want you people to stand up for yourselves. I want you people to stand up for those kids who have no anyone else to fight for. And I want you to remember that programs like Job Corps weren't perfect, but they were a shot. They made sense, and every kid deserves one. Every kid deserves a sense of belonging. They deserve to be something or to be someone of substance. They deserve to be people who are fruitful in the society. Because if you're going to take away programs like Job Corps, it means you want to send these kids in the streets. And when you send them back to the streets, definitely they'll hold up Glocks, and when they hold up Glocks, they'll involve themselves in criminal activities. And well, the prisons doors are open. These guys are going to go behind bars, maybe for the rest of their lives, and definitely they'll have destroyed their lives. So let us speak up and let us make sure that we stand up for these kids. And guys, That is something that I don't want to take for granted. Thank you for those people who are supporting me, the people who are subscribing, the people who are watching, the people who are commenting, everyone who is participating in pushing this channel. I appreciate you so much, and I don't take that for granted. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you in my next video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and most definitely turn on post notifications so that every day when I post new videos, I'd like you to be the very first person to watch them. Peace out.